Welcome to another iRacing video. This time we have two races at Detroit Belle Isle, and once again we're in the BMW M4. We qualified on pole for both races, so we'll see if we can hold on at the street circuit. There's concrete in abundance and it's definitely a dangerous circuit as one mistake can cause massive damage. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to help me grow this channel. Definitely have some more content on the way. Now on to the first race. As I mentioned, on pole for this race with a 37.5. Johnny in P2 with a 38.4, almost a second difference. So I guess he didn't really have a good qualifying, and we'll see how the race goes. Pace car is in. And I wait till I see an opportunity, I hit it. Get a nice little lead going into turn 1 and turn 2. Very tricky this corner on cold tires. Definitely wants to understeer, so you have to be careful. It's easy to pop that wall on the right there. Well, you see in the background a little bit of carnage going on. We'll go back to that. Coming out in turn 3, I cover the inside a little bit just to make sure he doesn't do anything silly. A little farther back, Richard into 13. Sended a package in there under Alejandro. Didn't quite make it. He's rocking the classic Benson & Hedges livery. You know, first lap move. Not sure if that was really necessary. Maybe he just made a mistake. Back to me coming out of turn 6 on the Strand drive straight. And behind me in P5, car 11, Mario, not named Andretti. Getting a little oversteered into the inside wall, ruining his day. Now I did not get a good run out of 6, and Johnny trying to make a move at 7. Looking for a little over-under. He puts his nose in here. I actually clip him, nearly pitting myself and ending my race way too early. Luckily I save it. Actually pull out a little bit of a gap here. I'm coming up to turn 11. This, to me, is the most difficult corner on the track. Taking a look at that replay. You see, for a second, I'm looking at the wall on the right. Definitely don't want to be looking that way for a left-hander. Back to the race. Coming up to the start line, lap 1 in P1. Pretty eventful. Johnny right behind me, making it a race. So maybe he is faster than his qualifying was letting on. Now taking a look back at that first lap carnage we didn't get to see. We have Eduardo in the 2 car. Getting a little hot, hits the car in front, and then Adrian in the 18 tries to take an opportunity here, but Eduardo understeers into him, the cold tires and the pinball effect. Almost always at Detroit Belle Isle, turns 1 and 2 first lap. We get something like this. As for the rest of my race, I was able to pull a gap, not have any issues, no hits to the wall, just kept it clean, consistent, pulled about a 5-second gap at the end. So we did get a win for our first race at Detroit. I'll take it. Taking a look at the results, you see me in P1, Johnny holding his own in P2. In P4 was 10 seconds back, but then in P5 a whole minute and a half. Just not an overly tough lobby for this race. Here comparing lap times between me and Johnny at 37.8. Didn't really have to push too hard, so not a super fast lap time. And Johnny with a 38.6 on his 7th lap, which is kind of interesting on hot tires. Taking a look at some of the other incidents in the race. Here's John, the 14 car, coming through turn 3, up to turn 4. Drops the left rear and wham, pancakes the tire wall. Wonder if you could feel that one in a sim rig. Here's Arnaud in the 10 car, getting a little hot into turn 7 and takes it all out on the tire wall and the inside concrete wall. Now on lap 3, Eduardo putting a little pressure on Andres. Maybe he feels it. He goes into a little hot into 8, off the wall. Smash each other. They'll both be looking for a junkyard after this race. Fast forward lap 6, back on board with Richard. You see Andres on the right there. In some action again, showing a move on Jeff. Pops him in the rear quarter. Sends him into tire wall. Hey, seems legit. Now probably the biggest scuffle of this race. On board with Janik in the 16. Coming up to 7, gets in real hot. Actually does really smart move here, just takes the access road. Now behind him, John in the 14 car coming through doing his thing. There's Janik coming back on the track. And John's feeling like, hey, I could probably make a move, but he slams into him. I do not know if that was intentional. Through the double apex left, he's trying to do something. Janik teleports for a second. So nose to tail, coming up to turn 12. You know, very difficult right. Janik gets it wrong. John gets it right. Doesn't slow down, just full throttle right into him. No remorse. But we'll stay on board with this race. Coming on to the last lap. Up to turns 1 and 2. Very tough set of corners here. This apex trying to get in there while not sliding out to that wall. Very difficult. Hot tires makes it difficult. Coming down to turn 3. John being defensive. Janik's gonna try to brake late. Maybe do an over-under. No, he stays on the outside. Interesting. John maybe feeling a little bad about those incidents earlier. Decides let Janik go by. Maybe the earlier mistakes were just not intentional. Now on to race 2. On pole again. Definitely the best place to be starting a race at Detroit. And you will see why shortly. Now Fabian looked like he was trying to get a run on the outside there. Now we're on board with Kevin. Kevin sees a little opportunity here. Fabian closes the door, pits himself in a big slide. Boom, gets the T-bone. Wheel magically reattaches itself, but there's still carnage all originating from that incident. Now on board with Pablo. This is the replay of the start. Now Pablo looks like he's trying to just take it easy. He's going to let whatever happen, and he's going to get through this. It still does not work out. And here he just figures the throttle is the way to go to get through all this, and it did not pan out that way. And Pablo's sitting on the wall with a bag of neutrals, trying to figure out how to go forward. He eventually will make it. Now I stay in the lead halfway through the first lap. Kevin close behind, but not really challenging at the moment. And back behind us, Martin in the 6 car, coming in a little hot in the 7, and bam! You know what? Just hit the music. And basically, that's how his race will go. Back to me, still holding first, coming out of turn 14 onto the front straight. Kevin falling closely behind, about a half second. He's definitely going to give me a run this race. Jumping on board with him, you can see in turn 1, tires are a little cold. I understeer a little bit, compromises my exit coming out of 2. He does gain a couple of tenths there. Now going down to turn 3. I do cover the inside. I'm worried he might try to throw it in there. Hit the apex nicely. I actually get a pretty decent run, the same run as he gets. Now into turn 4. Cutting over the curb in the grass. Sometimes it seems a little faster doing that, but you can definitely throw the car off balance. Now through turn 6, probably the most important corner on the course as it leads to this long straightaway. But Kevin got a nice one. Once again, coming up to 7, I'm going to hold to the right. I'm not going to let him get an opportunity to go underneath me. Once again, I do get a decent apex while holding the inside line. Now coming through 8, going in 9, the double apex left. And definitely the corner I hate the most, turn 11. Right as you come out of the exit, there's a dip there. I peel out a little bit as I hit the dip. Allow him to get along beside me, but he plays smart. He doesn't try to do anything silly in that dangerous corner. And he tucks in behind, and another lap, still holding on to the lead, but this may be a long race. Now jumping over to the TV camera for one lap. going through 1 and 2. You see I hit those apexes very nicely there. Kevin hopping over the hump there, pancaking the wall a little bit. He still gets a decent run, but probably caused him a little bit of damage. You know, iRacing, you touch a wall, throw your alignment out a little. But Kevin is definitely not letting me get away. Now coming up to turn 5. Very difficult entry, very misleading. And then the exit, there's a concrete wall right there. And I mean, the fast line is going right up against it, trying not to hit it. Now through 6 onto the back straight. Did pull a little bit of a gap there, but still I'm keeping an eye on my mirror. Now through 8, then 9. There's 9 very tricky on hot tires. It wants to understeer, and it's tough to get tucked in for, you know, turn 11 right here. Down Strand Drive up to turn 12. Turn 12, very easy to hop on that inside curb, and it literally just throws you to the outside. If I showed you every incident from somebody hitting that wall every race, this video would be an hour long. Now on board for my fastest lap, 37.2, actually 4/10 faster than my qualifying time. I still struggle on qualifying on the cold tires. I hope to figure it out soon. Coming down to turn 3, braking just a little bit before that 400 marker. Really trying to get some good corner speed and on the gas right after that apex, right after the curb. Now to turn 4, trying to turn late as you can. Then up to 5, turning in actually a little early, trying to carry a lot of speed, making the corner nice and round, but not hitting that wall. Now through turn 6, late apex, trying to angle off the corner if you get a straight exit so you can get the most speed you can down the straightaway. Here setting up right, coming over left at the last second. Once again, a little bit before 400 board. There you see I just locked up the fronts just a little. This double apex left, very tough. Hard to tell if it's just lifting and rolling through the corners quicker or more throttle than a tap of the brakes. Now coming up to turn 12. Definitely a turn you have to watch out for with hot tires, as you will understeer, and if you do, you're into that wall and you have damage. So you have to be very careful. The last corner there, turn 14, pretty easy corner, easy to get on the gas early and get the car to rotate without it being too violent. And that's a fast lap, 37.2. As you can see from the blimp cam, Kevin's still giving me a run for my money. But going up to lap 8, as you can see, I'm still in first place here. Kevin did keep me honest. He's about 3 seconds back at the finish. I was able to hold on from pole for the victory. Overall, I really like this Detroit Belle Isle track. The M4, it's really nice because M4 suspension's a little soft compared to like a GT3 car. So it's not going to kill you every single corner, and it makes it pretty fun. You know, as long as you don't hit any of the walls. And there it is, checkered flag. 2 poles, 2 victories, 0 incidents. I will definitely take that. Looking at the results, you can see Kevin there, almost 3 seconds behind me. The top 4 actually pretty close, all within 7.5 seconds. Bobby in there in the 6th place. You see his qualifying time, 37.7, only 1/10 behind me, so that could have been an interesting race had he not been spun out in that first corner. In lap comparison between me and Kevin, you can see my 4th lap, 37.2. Also Kevin, 4th lap, 37.6, about 3/10 behind me. It was definitely a fun race. And now on to the other incidents. On lap 3, on board with Martin once again, coming up to turn 12, pops the curb like I was talking about, and bam, gets himself some pancakes. Now on board with Florian, decides to light a cigarette while going through 1 and 2, pops over the hump, and he also wants some pancakes. Now on to lap 7, on board with Jose. Coming out at turn 3, braking after the 400 board. And the result is in the tire wall. Loses a position, probably some alignment also. Now for an encore performance of Martin, lap 8. This is not the same replay from earlier in the race. And thank you for watching. I hope I brought you some entertainment for the day. Please like and subscribe to help me out, and hopefully I'll bring you some more content soon.